Hi, I'm Janice Sullivan from Sullivan J Photography, and this is the place where we talk about macro and landscape photography, post-processing, behind the scenes, equipment, you name it, and we will chat about it. Now, on my macro live chat show, I had a great question from Elise on RAW and JPEG. Not RAW versus JPEG, but basically, what's the difference and why should she even bother with RAW since she's been shooting JPEG for so long? She actually said she felt silly asking this question, and I thought to myself, why? That is such a great question. There's a lot of debates about this, but I'm not going to debate with you guys. I'm just going to tell you how it is, and then you decide what you would like to shoot. So what I did was I made this PDF for you guys. It's going to be on my article, and if you're interested, you can download it and just check it out. I think it's pretty cool. Before we get into it, let's just do a little bit of background. The light comes into the camera, which is RGB, red, green, blue, and all those colors make the spectrum. So the light comes into your camera and hits the sensor. The sensor gets all the information and it either pushes it straight into the card that you take out in your camera. That is called a RAW file, or it hits the sensor and then it goes through this processor and it makes all these changes and then dumps the rest of the information that was hitting the sensor, which means it compresses the file to make it smaller and then throws it onto that card. That is a JPEG. Now with the JPEG, you really won't do any post-processing. The camera does it for you. So it basically takes care of the highlights, the color, how sharp it is, the contrast between everything. And it goes ahead and does like a mini little processing. And then when you look at the file, it looks good. And you're like, why does the RAW look like crap and the JPEG looks so good? Well, that's why, because the camera has went ahead and did those little tweaks to make it look good, and then you can go ahead and share it off to the world. But when it does that, like I told you before, it will dump some of that image information and throw it away. That's why when you see a JPEG file, it's really small, and when you see a RAW file, it's really big. When you photograph in a RAW format, basically nothing is done to that photograph. It's all the information hitting your sensor, and it keeps all that information into the file. But you have to post-process that file in order to make it look better. You can really push your post-processing and really bring out the shadows and the highlights and all the colors and really push the sliders of the creations that you see from me and from many other photographers that love to post-process their work. So let's go ahead and get to the computer so I can just share with you the differences on what you can do with one file and what you can do without. Okay, let's go ahead and look at a JPEG and a RAW file. Here's two shots that were taken in Joshua Tree National Park. This was done with light painting during the blue hour. I thought this would be a great photograph to explain on what RAW and JPEG will do for you. To the left over here is the RAW file, and over to the right is the JPEG. As you can see, the right file actually looks better. That's because on the right, you told the camera that you wanted this file to be a JPEG, so it automatically took the information once you pushed that shutter, sent it to its processor, and did a little mini post-processing. Let's go ahead and look closer. So you can see right in here that this dark area and this dark area in here are different. You don't have as much information in here to the right, whereas the left we can see underneath the rock. Also, there is a bit of noise, and that's what this green area is in here, this little green. Let's even get in closer because when you print your files, you're really going to be able to see this. And that's what this green area in here. There's no green on this rock, as you can see to the left. On the right side of that rock, it's nice and clean. But because of the way it can't handle the darks as well, JPEGs can't, this is what it's done to it. This also is noise over here to the right on the JPEG. It's kind of like a grainy feel to it. In these two images, I did exactly the same post-processing. The file on the right, the JPEG, would not give me enough information to really push my post-processing sliders. We'll go up to develop, and what I mean by that, if I wanted to pull out some of these shadows, it's still not going to look good. You just don't have the information to really be able to pull up these shadows. It just looks horrible. We'll go ahead and do that to the raw file and push the shadows all the way, and we'll see what that does. So here's the raw file. You can see that I want to push up those shadows, and that's all it did. Here is the left JPEG and here is the right raw. It looks much cleaner in the raw format in order for me to really do some post-processing. To the left is the raw original file, and to the right is the post-process file. But just because this is post-process doesn't mean I'm finished with it. I actually like the blue hour. I might even take this blue hour image, enhance that, and then place them together and put the blue hour, which that is the time frame it was shot, into this photograph. Because I have the raw image, I won't have all the crazy grain in my blue hour sky, or if I do, I'll be able to fix it and then enhance it and then place it on top and add it to this image here to the right, which those are what those rocks actually look like if you've ever been to Joshua Tree National Park. So what you need to ask yourself is, do you want to push your creativity? If you do, shoot raw. If you just want to take the shot and share it to the world, shoot JPEG. My question to you is, do you really want to focus on post-processing your work later? Or do you just like the JPEGs? Let me know. Now, maybe since you've seen this video, you're going to shoot both. The best place to answer your questions is at sullivanjphotography.com. Leave a comment below and join the conversation. And while you're at it, sign up for my challenge. Once you sign up, you'll receive free textures and an email from me about every other week to inspire you to get up close and personal with your camera. Plus, only subscribers receive the best sales we have to offer. And share this with your friends. I think this is an excellent question, and we really do need to talk about RAW and JPEG, not RAW versus JPEG. I think that is a huge change in our mind that we need to think about. A huge thank you for watching this, and remember, 1,000 words does make a difference. I'm Janice Sullivan from Sullivan J Photography, helping you get up close and personal with your camera. Have a great day. Cheers.